This is the Commissioner meeting of September 8th, 2021 at 6:08 p.m. Sussex County Community College Performing Arts Center. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney?
Here.
Director Fantasia?
Here.
Commissioner Fasano?
I'm here, finally.
Thank you. Commissioner Patillo?
Here.
Commissioner Yardley?
Here.
We're going to have our moment of silence and salute to the flag, but tonight is a bit different, so please just stay seated for just a moment. 11 Marines, 1 Navy corpsman, and 1 soldier were killed as a result of an enemy attack while supporting the evacuation operations in Afghanistan. The Department of Defense has released the names of the U.S. troops lost. Marine Corps Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover, 31, Salt Lake City, Utah. Marine Corps Sergeant Johnny Rosario Pichardo, 25, of Lawrence, Massachusetts. Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole L. G., 23, of Sacramento, California. Marine Corps Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22, of Indio, California. Marine Corps Corporal Dagan W. Page, 23, of Omaha, Nebraska. Marine Corps Corporal Humberto A. Sanchez, 22, of Logansport, Indiana. Marine Corps Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza, 20, of Rio Bravo, Texas. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmitz, 20, of St. Charles, Missouri. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Riley J. McCollum, 20, of Jackson, Wyoming. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Dylan R. Marola, 20, of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nakui, 20, of Norco, California. Navy Hospitalman Maxton W. Soviak, 22, of Berlin Heights, Ohio. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan C. Nouse, 23, of Corrytown, Tennessee. Tonight we also remember the September 11th attacks, the series of airline hijackings and suicide attacks committed in 2001 by 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda against targets in the United States, the deadliest terrorist attacks on American soil in U.S. history. The attacks against New York City and Washington, D.C. caused extensive death and destruction and triggered an enormous U.S. effort to combat terrorism. Some 2,750 people were killed in New York, 184 at the Pentagon, and 40 in Pennsylvania, where one of the hijacked planes crashed after the passengers attempted to retake the plane, and all 19 terrorists died. Police and fire departments in New York were especially hard hit. Hundreds had rushed to the scene of the attacks, and more than 400 police officers and firefighters were killed. There are countless others who died in the following years due to the physical damage done during rescue efforts, and those survivors who were exposed to the conditions of that tragic day. I ask for our moment of silence tonight to please remember these American heroes. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Number 4, public statement. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975 has been made by regular mail and email, such notice being submitted on May 5th, 2021, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, and WNNJ Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements, and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. At this time, please mute all electronic devices. Thank you. Number 5, approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Number 6, proclamations, certificates, and presentations. I'll need a motion to adopt the proclamations and certificates.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. So the first is a proclamation to recognize Hopatcong Seniors' 50th anniversary, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Patillo to please do the honors.
Actually, their 50th anniversary was last year, but because of COVID, we're celebrating this year. Whereas the Hopatcong Seniors, Inc. is celebrating their 50th anniversary on Thursday, September 9, 2021. And whereas the Hopatcong Seniors, Inc. currently has 250 members that enjoy a variety of life enrichment programs, events, and social activities, all designed to keep the constituents cheerful and thriving. And whereas the Hopatcong Seniors, Inc. is an integral part of the senior community, planning trips and leisurely activities so the exuberant, fun-loving members have opportunities to experience new happenings, expand their minds, and enjoy life together. Now therefore be it resolved, it is with great admiration that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners do hereby congratulate Hopatcong Seniors, Inc. on their 50th anniversary. We recognize the significant contributions Hopatcong Seniors, Inc. has made in the lives and well-being of their members. Clearly, what was started 50 years ago continues to be relevant today. We wish you continued success in the future. By order of the Board of County Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Sylvia Patillo, Herb Yardley, and Chris Carney, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next is a proclamation recognizing Branchville Burroughs by Centennial. Accepting tonight is Council President Richard Van Stone, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Carney to please read the proclamation.
Thank you. Whereas 2021 marks the bicentennial of the borough of Branchville, honoring the borough named in 1821, and whereas Branchville was originally named Brandtown because of a large number of mills in the area. The name changed to Branchville in recognition of its site at a branch of the Paul'n'Skill River, which is a tributary of the nearby Delaware River. And whereas Branchville is located about 60 miles from New York City on the northwest side of Sussex County. The borough is about a half a square mile and home to approximately 773 residents according to the most recent census. And whereas Branchville Borough was settled in the late 18th century by settlers from Connecticut. By 1844, it had 32 dwellings, including blacksmiths, an academy, a church, several mills, and dairy farms. By 1855, a dam and 2 water-powered mills were built. A second dam was built, which provided Branchville with its own electric power company, and once the site of the Sussex County Fair and Farm and Horse Show. And whereas Branchville has the newest infrastructure in the entire state of New Jersey. Branchville has been upgraded with new gas and sewer lines, repaved roads, and municipal water. The borough also has many recreational facilities such as tennis and pickleball courts, softball, Little League, and even American Legion baseball field. And whereas one of Branchville's largest employers, Selective Insurance, can trace their roots back to 1920 when Daniel L.B. Smith lent one of his friends who was an insurance agent a horse and carriage. The horse got away wrecking the carriage, so in lieu of paying for damages, his friend gave him some policy declarations for farms and homes in the areas. From D.L.B. Smith Agency set up shop in a front window in Branchville store. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Branchville community continues to nurture and prosper with a respectful nod to the past and a thrilling eye on the future. By order of the Board of County Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Anthony Fasano, Deputy Commissioner, Sylvia Patillo, Herbie Yardley, and Chris Carney, Commissioners.
Would you care to say something? You could at the mic.
This is on behalf of the mayor, the council, and the borough residents, I'd like to thank the commissioners for this proclamation. Branchville is a wonderful place to live, and I hope hopefully the next 200 years will be just as good as the last. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation this evening. This is the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Public Forum. Making this presentation is Daniel Maxian, Director of Project Management of Kinder Morgan.
Before you start, sir, just so we can follow a clear process here. Item 8 on the agenda is public comment on agenda items only. We previously approved the agenda itself as item 5. So we'll get the public comment when we get to item 8. In the meantime, the Tennessee Gas Pipeline is what it is. It's just a public presentation. My understanding is it's going to take roughly 15 minutes. Tennessee Gas Pipeline had previously accepted public inquiries. I assume that they will be working as many of those as they can into their presentation tonight. It's also my understanding at the end of the presentation tonight that they will be announcing that there is a public portal open to take further questions or comments if anybody has any. That being said, anybody that has any comments specifically related to the TGP presentation are free to make them when we get to item 8, public session from the floor on agenda items. So we'll be happy to hear from those then. In the meantime, I'd ask that everybody please be polite and listen intently. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. All right, I'll hold it. Okay, thank you so much, Commissioners, for having us this evening again. My name is Daniel Maxian. I am the Director of Project Management with Kinder Morgan here on behalf of Tennessee Gas Pipeline. So we're going to go through a few things tonight on this presentation. As previously mentioned, it should take about 15 minutes or so. We're going to kind of start at a high level, talk a little bit about Kinder Morgan and Tennessee Gas Pipeline, and then bring it down a little bit more specifically to the proposed project for the expansion of our compressor station over in the Wantage area. At the end, we are going to incorporate some responses to questions already received, and as also mentioned, we will have the ability to accept further questions, and we'll respond to those on our portal and on our website. So with that, we'll get started. Let's see if we can make this work. All right. So on the map here is the national level of Tennessee Gas Pipeline. It's shown in blue. It runs from the Texas-Mexico border all the way up into the New England area. As we get into more of a regional level, we're going to be focusing on the area over here labeled 300 line, which is in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area. So just as a matter of course, Kinder Morgan is the leader in North American energy infrastructure. We operate the largest natural gas transmission network in the country at approximately 70,000 miles. Tennessee Gas Pipeline is a part of that system. As part of our national network, we transport approximately 40% of the natural gas consumed in the U.S. So as we break that down to Tennessee Gas Pipeline, that consists of approximately 11,750 miles of pipe shown here in blue, which compiles 83 compressor stations and approximately 80 billion cubic feet of natural gas storage capacity. So as we break that down a little further, that really calculates down to 12.1 billion cubic feet of natural gas transportation per day, which is equivalent to the amount of energy required to heat approximately 72 million homes every day. So that's kind of Tennessee Gas at a national level. As we start to bring it down a little bit more regionally here, this is a kind of an overview map of the greater project or program that we have on file with our federal regulator, who is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or I'll refer to them as FERC here for the rest of the presentation. So we filed our certificate application on June 30th of 2020, and it's composed of the expansion or the construction of 3 compressor stations, the first of which is located in West Milford Township. That's going to be known as Station 327, which is over here on the right side of the map. The other two projects are expansions or upgrades of existing compressor stations. The one we're going to focus on tonight, obviously, is here in Wantage in Sussex County. And the last one is known as Station 321, which is over in Clifford Township in Susquehanna County, Pennsylvania. Of note, the project here doesn't include the construction of any new mainline pipe. One option or opportunity that Tennessee Gas does have is to optimize its existing footprint by adding compression. It helps increase throughput on the existing pipeline system. Certainly at two sites that we already own, it really minimizes impacts to additional virgin territory where we don't have facilities. So we look to try and optimize our system where possible, and this project really presented a good opportunity to do that. So as we get a little bit closer down here, and this map shows up a little bit dark, and so I apologize about that for the screen. I believe you guys all have copies of the presentation, but here in this pin is the location of our compressor station just in the Wantage area. The green line is our pipeline. And so we're located at Block 135 of Tax Lot 2 in the township of Wantage. The compressor station was built back in 1986, so we've been operating in the community for approximately 35 years now. And we're locating on a piece of property that Tennessee Gas owns, which is approximately 94 acres in size. The current footprint, which we'll see on another slide coming up, is approximately 6 acres. And after the station is expanded and upgraded, we'll occupy about 12.7 or 13 acres, call it, of operational footprint out of that 94 acres. So really only about 15% of the property there is used for operational footprint. The rest will remain in agricultural use, forested buffer, and in its natural habitat. So one of the things that we really work to do when we expand our existing infrastructure is look to site our equipment in areas that really avoid or minimize environmental impact. So what we see here on the left is, and we'll see it on the next slide that's got a little bit better picture. We have very minimal tree clearing, which we're consulting with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on appropriate windows for species habitats and other items, but we don't have any direct impacts to streams, water bodies, or freshwater wetlands on our sites. And through our consultations, it's been determined we do not have any impacts to migratory birds, sensitive species, or habitats. All right, this one's a little dark as well, so again, I apologize. But what you'll see here is an aerial image of our existing compressor station site. So again, you've got the existing pipelines running in the right-of-way in the corridor here, and then this is the 6 acres of operational footprint. What you see down here in these white buildings, this building right here is our existing compressor station that houses 2 gas-fired engines right now. This is an auxiliary building that holds some valving and other piping. And then we have office, control, and storage buildings over here. As matter of reference, and I'm kind of jumping a slide ahead of myself here, but what we plan on doing is this size footprint of building here will essentially be translated or transposed down into this open area here, which is currently being used for agricultural purposes. The minimal tree clearing I talked about earlier is really just a pathway through this tree line here necessary to connect one side of the station to the other with new gas piping. So we'll have a building of this size as well as some auxiliary equipment and some other things. So what you see here in this footprint will really be transposed down into this open area here, which is the proposed expansion area. And we'll see that in a little bit on the next slide, but I wanted to give you a little frame of reference for just kind of an optics of what we have out there versus what we'll see. So in a little bit of a bigger photo here of our entire property site. So we talked earlier about owning approximately 94 acres in this area, and the red line represents our boundary of owned property. The picture we just looked at on the last slide really represents this open area up here, which I'm trying to kind of go with my green light here. And the star will represent where we're going to install the new equipment, the new building, the new compressor, and associated equipment. So within that new building is proposed a 20,500 horsepower natural gas-fired turbine engine with associated compressor. By comparison, there are 2 engines there now, each rated at approximately 10,000 horsepower. So we're really looking to just incrementally double the size of the facility. And it sounds like a lot, but I'm trying to put it into perspective with what we're adding versus what's there right now. It'll be housed in a new acoustically insulated compressor building and will be supported by some of our auxiliary equipment, gas coolers, gas filtration, and an emergency generator to keep our control systems online in the event of a power failure. We are installing state-of-the-art safety and control systems, and we'll talk about this in a future slide, but I'll go ahead and start bringing it up now. Really, our compressor stations are designed with redundant levels of safety systems. So we do work to automate our facilities, and what I mean by that is we have real-time pressure, temperature, flow sensors, gas and leak detectors that monitor our environments and monitor our facilities on a real-time basis, and those are reported and recorded in a few areas. One is in our 24-hour gas control operations center in Houston, and so we're monitoring it at a remote level. We also have on-site computer systems that monitor this data in real time and can adjust and monitor, and we also have personnel that are at this station, Tennessee Gas personnel that are at this station during normal business hours as well. So we really have three levels of kind of operational control over the function of our system that allows us to respond to changes in flow conditions, operational changes, as well as make sure that we can control safe operations as well by having redundant systems in place. So the new station will also be designed to minimize impacts into our local area there. Obviously, we've been operating for around 35 years, but with new things come, new impacts. So we understand the new building will have, new lights and new light sources. Those will be shielded and directionally controlled to really point of focus areas that we need to safely operate the facility. Where we can put them on timers, where we can put them on, what's the word I'm looking for? Proximity sensors, we will do that to have them in an off position and then turn on when necessary. Certainly keeping the right amount of light on to maintain safe operations. From a visual perspective, there will be new building and new facilities there, but as I mentioned, we're going to still maintain almost 80 acres of buffer around our facilities. The forested areas you see there, the agricultural areas you see there will remain and provide visual and acoustical buffers from the neighbors. And as I mentioned also, the building will be acoustically insulated with almost 9 or 10 inches of noise reducing material that limits the amount of noise that comes from the running machinery. As part of our filing with the Ferc and as part of our obligation, we have to not only model and monitor sound prior to construction, but also post-construction to make sure that the limits are within regulatory controls. And so that'll be part of the process both before and after construction. We'll get to this in a few slides, but one of the things that are also of concern is air emissions and air monitoring. Currently, I say we will comply. We do comply with our current New Jersey DEP air emission permit. And certainly, once the new permit is issued, we will comply with all obligations for that permit as well. So we did receive a number of questions and comments related to air emissions. We are currently and do report and test our emissions as required, I believe, on an annual basis, and we do report those into the New Jersey DEP. And so those are on file with the DEP as a matter of record. And also I'll add that Kinder Morgan and Tennessee Gas as a part of Kinder Morgan is part of the EPA One Methane Reduction Challenge, which is a program that's out there that is voluntary that our corporation is involved with to reduce the amount of involuntary or fugitive emissions that come from our facilities. So we don't want to lose the gas that we're running through our pipelines or our systems, and we work very, very aggressively to reduce those levels. All right, a little bit on the financial side of things. So currently, Tennessee Gas pays approximately $335,000 in annual property and improvement taxes. Upon completion of the new upgrade, that will increase by just over $105,000 to come up to around $440,000 on an annual property tax basis. But as we look at the construction and execution of the project, we estimate that the project will create more than 40 New Jersey jobs during construction and the associated economic impacts. We plan to construct this facility with union labor, local labor, and we also commissioned a study, which is noted below, from Rutgers University regarding economic impacts. And so what you see here on the left side is our total East 300 program economic impacts, and then on the right side is economic impacts associated with Station 325 on its own. And so I'll just focus on the numbers on the right for the purpose of our discussion tonight. But the study estimates that approximately 446 total job years, and I had to learn what a job year was, but one job year is equivalent to one job lasting 1 year. And really what this means is the investment that Tennessee Gas is making into the community, the dollar goes more than just one place. And so it'll continue to trickle down from one place to the next as it gets reinvested in the community through hotels, stays, restaurants, various local investments as we go. So it's also estimated to generate approximately $28.4 million in GDP, $15 million in local labor compensation, and then $1.2 million in state tax revenues and $0.4 million in local tax revenues. And those are more sales tax, occupancy tax, rental cars, things of that nature, not necessarily associated with the property tax that I referenced above. And so we received some comments and questions about, why are you building facilities in New Jersey and Pennsylvania if the gas is ultimately going over to New York? And that's a true statement. Our customer is Consolidated Edison of New York. And so that is the reason we are proposing and wanting to execute these facilities. But with new infrastructure and with state-of-the-art facilities becomes reliability. And you get increased reliability, you get increased access to natural gas supplies in the region. And as we saw on the map earlier, that region is Pennsylvania, it's New York, it's New Jersey, it's Ohio, it goes further into New England. And so new infrastructure brings with it other benefits as well, which shouldn't go unnoticed. Okay, here I'm going to have to go back to my notes a little bit, but one of the things I'm going to try and go over on some of this is I tried to group a few of the questions and comments that we received, with the microphone, into a few different topic areas here, some of which I've already covered, and I'm going to try and cover again here briefly, but I want to make sure we can address as many that are as practical. And also referenced before the presentation, we do have our portal is live and active. On the next slide, we'll see the website and the link to access that. On that portal, we have frequently asked questions. We have additional information regarding our East 300 program. We have references to a few studies and other documents, and certainly things that aren't covered by myself today that we feel have more detailed or robust answers will be posted on our informational page here within about a week. So we will continue to post information about the project as we continue to receive questions and as we further provide information. So I want to make sure that that's out there. So on site impacts, again, comments about building and new infrastructure and its impact to the area around it. So again, I'll just reference, we're on 94 acres there, occupying about 15% of the total site. We've been operating in the community for about 35 years. We received some questions and comments about deterioration of home values associated with compressor stations. Again, we've been there for a while, but there's also been studies commissioned by INGA, which is the Interstate Natural Gas Association, that has really found that homes sited near infrastructure, particularly compressor station infrastructure or pipeline infrastructure, hasn't shown any real impact or any impact on the value of property or the value of homes around that type of infrastructure. And that report is referenced on our website, and that was one of the questions we did receive about. We did also hear some stuff about health of residents, and I'll get into this a little bit with environmental impacts, but related to air emissions or impacts to water. We aren't drilling any wells. We are operating really above ground there with what you saw in some of the previous pictures. But we comply and are in compliance with our permits, with all of our permits, both state and federal. And what those permits and what those rules take into account is the health and safety of the public. We follow the rules. We don't write the rules, but we certainly comply and follow with all of those rules. So as they are set up, we certainly comply with them. And so I'll take that and dovetail that statement a little bit into environmental impacts, and I'm going to talk air first before I go back up to electrical compression. So As part of our air permit application with the New Jersey DEP, we are required and have submitted state-of-the-art technology as part of the facilities proposed to comply with New Jersey DEP air emissions requirements. Again, we test these on an annual basis, and we report all of our emissions and constituent levels to the Department of Environmental Protection, and they're on record there. One of the items that comes up a lot with respect to air quality and emissions revolves around blowdowns, and the either voluntary and controlled or involuntary and controlled blowdown of natural gas from our facilities. And so I'll bring that up two ways. One is at some point in time, Tennessee Gas will have to relieve or vent gas from its compressor station to perform maintenance activities, to perform upgrades or integrity management. And in doing so, we'll have to vent the gas from our compressor into the air. Now, that's done in a controlled method, and we do that in a way to minimize the amount of gas that we are releasing. Again, we're in the business of transporting gas in our pipeline. We're not in the business of venting gas to atmosphere. So we don't want to vent more than we need to. And as part of this project, we are proposing a couple of updated technologies to go along with our blowdown systems. And one of that is a new blowdown silencer. You could think about it as like a blowdown muffler, which is a vent stack where our natural gas, when vented, will go through this, and it'll greatly reduce the noise that is associated with a blowdown event. Now, natural gas is lighter than air. When we do blow down, that natural gas does direct up into the atmosphere and does dilute and travel away. Now, there's also a lot of questions about involuntary blowdowns, and in the unlikely event that we have an involuntary blowdown or an unlikely event of emergency situation, the compressor station is designed, again, to be a little redundant and a little bit autonomous, where it is designed to shut itself down. Right, so natural gas is an energy source, and what we want to do is eliminate the energy source. So what the compressor station is designed to do, and it's what it's designed to do today, and the upgrade will continue to do this, is isolate itself from the gas source, which is the pipeline. Okay, so the gas will come in off the pipeline, we compress it and send it back down the system, just like pumps on a water system, or any kind of pump really. But what that'll do is it isolates the station. It prevents the supply of new gas coming in and vents the gas on the station to atmosphere, just like it did in the other scenario, and does so in a time period of 3 minutes or less. So it's a short time period. They are very infrequent, and we don't like to do them. So we design our system to be smart. We design it to be adaptable and redundant, so that when we see operational parameters that start to look a little, like they're approaching the limits of their safe operating parameters, we slow the compressor down. We see this information in real time, so we'll slow it down. We minimize the amount of energy going in. We can adjust our operating controls to make sure we keep things in line and in safe operations. So blowdowns are a thing. Again, they are infrequent. We can never estimate or plan how many blowdowns we'll have on an annual basis, but we do estimate the volume of gas release. We do report that as required in our New Jersey air permit, as well as by the EPA, so that information is collected and submitted. And it is a thing that we deal with. It has been something we've dealt with for the past 35 years of operating in this area. And so those are several questions we received prior to the presentation, and I wanted to make sure I covered those. As we get into a little bit more detail, we'll probably post more information related to blowdowns. I believe there's already a decent amount of information on our website about that on our portal, which can be referenced at any time. So the first bullet back up there is electric compression. Was it considered? We got that question a few times, and it was. As you may be aware, or certainly I'm sure people in the room are aware, the station we're proposing over in West Milford is electric compression. So the question is, well, why not here? Well, we looked at that, and a couple of things kind of steered us in a different direction. One is the amount of environmental impacts to route the amount of electrical infrastructure to the station was considerable, and actually much more considerable than what we're talking about with the expansion of our existing site. And so that certainly goes into our analysis when we are thinking about what makes more sense for construction and impacts to the site and the environment around us. The second item is a little bit more of an engineering and a gas modeling perspective, and we look at it from a reliability perspective. Tennessee Gas does deploy electric compression around its system, and we actually have electric compression at another compressor station adjacent to this one, 323, and we're talking about 325 here, so it's the next one down the line. And what we really try hard to do is prevent similar technologies on adjacent stations. And in the event that we have regional disruption to electrical supply, we would be faced with pretty significant impacts on our ability to continue to deliver natural gas to our customers, to important end users, homes, persons, businesses, infrastructure, et cetera. So we really try hard to find appropriate ways to locate electric compression as well as minimize impacts to the environment around us. We received a couple of questions about wetlands, wetland monitoring, and other associated environmental impacts. Again, I mentioned earlier about where we're locating the expanded facilities here at 325. We are not impacting any wetlands or water bodies or regulated features, so we're not going to monitor wetlands we don't impact. We talk a little. We got some questions about noise as well as how often will the station be running. And I kind of have an open answer for station runtime. It runs when it's needed to run, which is pretty consistently. But the noise side of things is the amount of noise change pre-construction and post-construction will be negligible to what is audible out there at this time to the closest noise-sensitive structures, which are the homes in the area. And so again, we have to monitor and model noise pre-construction as well as post-construction and make any adjustments to our noise profile afterwards. So if we're not meeting our noise obligations or our federal requirements, we have to install more noise attenuation to reduce that audible limit. That obligation doesn't go away just because construction is completed. Moving over a little bit onto the safety side, again, we have levels of redundancy in our design. We have levels of redundancy in our monitoring systems, both locally with on-site personnel, automation, computer monitoring, as well as 24/7 in our gas control facility. Talked about, we received questions about lifespan of infrastructure, whether it be pipeline or whether it be existing compression. I will say that Tennessee Gas and Kinder Morgan have a very robust integrity management plan, meaning we are continuously inspecting, upgrading, maintaining not only our compressor stations but also our pipeline systems, and the systems that are out there are well within the design life of their operating span. We are not looking to increase pressure. Let me rephrase that. We're not looking to increase the allowable pressure that the pipeline currently sees. We are just boosting it or increasing it at this compressor station as we already do today, just with a higher amount of volume. Again, the pipeline is already designed today to operate in the same pressure parameters that we'll see post-construction. We also received some questions about first responders, what happens in the unlikely event of an emergency. And so as we do today, we coordinate with first responders in the unlikely event of any emergency. We offer annual briefings and trainings to local first responders, whether that be the fire department, and certainly we'll continue to reach out to those groups prior to putting the new facility in service to allow them to come see the new infrastructure, briefed on it, where it is, what it looks like, is it any different than what we've been dealing with before. And so we do that regularly. We do that at all of our facilities and all of our locations across the country, and we'll continue to do that here. Lastly, I'll hit on local project benefits again. Again, we'll see increased tax revenue from a property as well as an economic impacts perspective. We're going to utilize local labor to construct this facility. And again, it does provide for increased reliability and increases natural gas supply for the region. So on our last slide here, this is where you'll find Our ongoing portal, it's still open and will continue to remain open for persons to submit questions, informational requests into the system, in which we will continually post responses. So already on, I'm sorry with the microphone, already on the website are a number of Ferc documents that are publicly available on the Ferc website, but we also have them referenced here. We have informational submissions or questions that have been answered, FAQs, supplemental documents, some of the reports that I mentioned earlier that have been generated. Those are available on the portal. So we also received a number of questions related to facilities, events, items outside of Sussex County, outside of the 325 project. We do have answers to those questions on our portal already, and we'll continue to respond to those as appropriate. Some of those were related to West Milford or past construction projects. So we have that information available on this website. I do believe the presentation's been posted as well on your website, so the link here can be accessed. It's on kindermorgan.com under our project page. So thank you again for the time to present this information. And with that, I will turn it back over. Thank you so much.
Does any commissioner have a question for the presenters?
I do. You're mentioning that there is or there will be additional information on your site.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I was walking the other way. I apologize.
You did make a statement there will be additional information on your site on some of the issues that, as you gather more information. Is that correct?
That's correct. We'll continue to post responses to which I'm sure are some questions here that I might not have covered. We'll be posting more information within about a week. And as we continue to receive information on the portal or questions, comments, et cetera, we'll respond to those as they come up.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you were in compliance with all federal and state regulations?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. What is the government agency or agencies who ultimately approve this project?
So we are regulated by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the FERC. They will ultimately issue a project certificate, which is the ultimate approval process. But that is conditional approval. We have to obtain all required permits for any infrastructure. So that are state level permits. So the DEP air permit that I referenced earlier. But ultimately, it's a FERC federal regulated project.
Thank you.
No? Okay. It's not even so much a question, but just more of a statement that kind of bounces off what Commissioner Fasano said. We, as a county board, are not the entity that would approve or disapprove a project such as this. This came to our attention, multiple requests from the public for further information came to us. I know a similar presentation, albeit not live, because in the throes of COVID before reentry started happening, a similar presentation was in Passaic County because West Milford is located within that county. For us, we obviously have the substation in Wantage here that was referred to. So again, it is not even a town, it is not a county that approves this, it's actually the state of New Jersey that is charged with approving this project. So there is no vote of any kind per se of this board to either approve or deny such a project. We thought it was very important to have you here with the amount of interest that we had from the public. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you coming live. I think it's very important, and for the period of time that you left questions open. You've been very communicative with the board and myself specifically. I want to thank you for that, both, calls to Texas and also here in New Jersey. So I appreciate this. This information will be available too on our website again when the public requests information for large-scale projects like this, whether the board has a direct vote or not. It's the board's duty to share this information with the public. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So as we move on to the next item, 7, public hearings, there are none. We are now on number 8, which is our public session from the floor. This public session is for those wishing to make a comment of 3 minutes or less regarding an agenda item. Please line up at the microphone and maintain 6 feet social distance with other attendees. You must state your name, municipality, and the agenda topic for the record. Mr. Steinhardt, would you like to add anything regarding?
No, ma'am. Just, please be mindful of the time limits, and let's try to keep everything orderly and non-redundant. But microphone is off to your right, and per the director, ready to go.
Okay. I need a motion to open the floor for public comment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. We are now in open public session for agenda items only.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris Wood. I'm from Milford, Pennsylvania. I'm here to express my support for the Tennessee Upgrade Project. I hope this board takes the time to fully consider the many benefits that these projects have for the community. As a member of the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 825, I have firsthand knowledge of the benefits construction has in our communities. Local 825 members are exceptionally skilled and experienced in cranes, demolition, paving, environmental remediation, heavy highway, water, and energy infrastructure. Our workforce is highly trained, and safety is always our top priority. Our members are the professional men and women who safely build these projects, and their experience and expertise should be taken into consideration. We strongly care about this project and hope we can make it a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Davis. I'm from Monroe, New Jersey. For the decades of Tennessee Pipeline has been part of New Jersey's energy landscape, powering our homes, schools, and businesses. Pipelines are an integral part of sound energy policies for New Jersey. In order for our region to remain economically competitive and a great place to live, we need responsible energy infrastructure development. Anti-natural gas groups are using fear tactics to misinform elected officials and residents of our county to stop this pipeline. Many other projects like the pipeline. I support this project. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dave Fiore. I'm from Frelinghuysen Township. I'm a business representative with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 102. We represent roughly 2,700 electrical workers in northern New Jersey, of which 250 of them or so reside here in the county. It's very infrequent that our members get the ability to work here right in the county in which they live. We feel that this job is going to be able to provide good, decent jobs that pay a living wage with benefits, the benefits that our members have come to rely on. With the reliability that this project brings to the gas network in the region, we feel it's a win-win for everybody. And on behalf of all of the building trades, we hope that there's some strong support for this project and that we can see it come to fruition. Thanks.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak on an agenda item this evening?
Good evening, Commissioner, Director, and Commissioners. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is John Rocco. I live in Blairstown, New Jersey. I'm a business representative from the Operating Engineers, Local 825. I just want to give you a little bit of my history. I have 32 years as an operating engineer. I've worked specifically with pipeline work from the top of the state to the bottom of the state of New Jersey. I've worked for, not for Tennessee Gas, but I've worked for their subcontractors that work for them throughout the 32 years of my experience. I've tested natural gas pipelines. I'm an operator qualified pressure tester. I'm an installation guy. I'm also a lead engineer. I've done the 300 line that runs off of this compressor station from the Wantage compressor station to West Milford. That was a 17-mile job that we did in 2012. I had 168 operating engineers amongst about 150 laborers, 50 teamsters, amongst other trades there. So Tennessee Gas is not, they're not blowing smoke over ours when they say they're using local labor. They use us every time they do a job here in New Jersey. And I strongly would request that you guys consider, I know you can't approve it or pass anything, but if you're asked throughout the state, does Tennessee Gas do the right thing in Sussex County? The answer is yes, because we all go to work from it. And I just want to take 1 minute to thank all these members of mine that came here tonight, and not just members. They're tax-paying citizens of Sussex County. So they like to work here instead of driving all across the state to go to work. I think I had a way bigger speech to give tonight and a lot more rebuttal, but I don't think I'll need to do that. I just want to thank you guys for giving us the time and letting us, and thank Tennessee Gas for coming to present this. And we support this project 150%. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one else come forward to speak on an agenda item, I need a motion to close open public session on agenda items.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. At this time, we move to Commissioner's comments, number 9. So we're going to start with Commissioner Chris Carney.
Thank you, Director. We'll start with Tropical Storm Ida that affected most of us in different ways, but it all affected us. Tropical Storm Ida arrived in the county.
Mike?
Sorry. I can't hear myself anyway. Tropical Storm Ida arrived in the county on the evening of Wednesday, September 1st, producing torrential rains into the early morning hours of Thursday, September 2nd. Tropical Storm Ida left the county after depositing rainfall amounts of upward of 4.5 inches. The rain resulted in extensive river and road flooding. The Division of Public Works, Office of Bridge and Traffic Safety, and Division of Engineering's response to Tropical Storm Ida began before the rains arrived on Wednesday with system-wide pre-emergency preparations. During the height of the storm, crews from the 8 Public Works districts and the Office of Bridge and Traffic Safety continued to monitor for and respond to road and bridge safety impacts as they occurred. The storm resulted in a temporary closure of 17 county routes and bridges. A combination of temporary and permanent emergency remedial actions has been completed, returning 16 of the closures back to service. The department continues to assess a few issues and will be designing repairs required to restore the facilities to their pre-storm level of service. The department is also compiling information needed to complete a FEMA preliminary damage assessment for the department's response. The preliminary disaster assessment will be transmitted to the Sussex County Sheriff's Office Division of Emergency Management for submission to the State Office of Emergency Management in support of FEMA Major Disaster Declaration request under FEMA's Public Assistance Program. Kudos to all our workers who were up all night taking care of the roads and bridges and whatnot. They did a great job. Appreciate that. I had a meeting today with our project award for our resurfacing program, our county resurfacing program. The low bidder for this job is Riverview Paving. The contract was awarded on the 11th of August, and that amount was $10,773,923.57. Miles of road for the 2021 program is 34 miles, 34.36 miles. This is funded through the NJDOT state aid and county capital. Anticipated schedule for this will start at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it's expected to be in the fall of 2021. An updated notice will be distributed once a construction start date is finalized. Just a quick synopsis of where this is going to happen. Vernon Stockholm Road, Grand Price Road, Sparta Munson's Corner Road, Old Stanhope Road, Maxim Drive, River 6 Road, Bellwood Creamery, Middleville, Lake Mohawk, East Shore Trail, Sandiston Flatbook Road, Woodside Avenue, Highland Lake Road, Layton Bevins Road, and Drew Road. So all across the county will be taking place. Replacement of Bridge Q06, Main Street over Walk Hill River. Construction timeframe has not been established. However, it is anticipated that construction will take place under a full road closure with a posted detour. Construction details will be provided as soon as available. Now, on a personal note, since we only had one meeting last month, I was able to, along with Commissioner Anthony Fasano, we were able to go to a grand opening at a sandwich shop in Sandiston, where we met the owners, Latifah and Eric Williams, which are from Montague. That was nice. It's always nice to see new businesses open, especially during COVID. We also got to, Director Fantasia and I went to Sussex County Day at the Skyline Stadium, where we were able to throw out the first pitch. And if anybody sees that on YouTube, you get a good laugh at Director Fantasia's throw.
Au contraire.
I just going back to the bicentennial for Branchville. I was actually able to go there. It was a fun night. They had fireworks at 9 o'clock. They had a time capsule, which was really neat. And come to find out, my wife's great aunt put the time capsule together 50 years prior. Wow. Which was pretty cool, because my 9-year-old was with us. So they had a bunch of newspaper articles, so on and so forth. Branchville's just a really good little town. You know, less than 800 people in there. Frankfurt encompasses it, and just neat what they do over there. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Commissioner Patillo.
I'm going to begin this evening with all the information you need to know about the November 2nd general election. There will be 3 ways to vote this November. The first is to vote early in person at one of the 3 designated vote centers using a voting machine during the 9-day period leading up to Election Day. The second way is to vote early by mail-in ballots, and this year you get to vote on Election Day in person using a voting machine at your assigned polling place. In New Jersey, all accepted mail-in absentee ballots are counted on Election Day. Provisional ballots are counted after the deadline for receiving mail-in absentee ballots has passed. Some voters have expressed concerns that because they voted by mail under executive order in 2020 elections, they will be placed on the list to automatically receive mail-in ballots in all future elections. This is not true. Voters who voted by mail under executive order in 2020 will not be put on this list, and so have no need to opt off of the list. This year, for the first time, New Jersey voters will have the option to vote early on voting machines at vote centers in their county. The 3 sites designated as vote centers in Sussex County are: first, the Sussex County Fairgrounds in Augusta. Second, you can go to Sussex Warren Branch Library in Wantage, that's on Route 565. And the third place you can vote is the Louise Childs Branch Library in Apacon. That's on Stanhope Sparta Road. The early voting period for the November 2nd, 21 general election is October 23rd through October 31st, with the following hours. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Registered voters will receive a sample ballot in the mail 1 to 2 weeks before Election Day, which will provide address information for the vote centers as well as voting hours. Voters who are scheduled to receive mail-in ballots will not be able to vote using a voting machine unless they first opt out of the vote by mail. I don't ever remember voting being so involved. Mail-in ballots, also called absentee ballots, are still available up to 45 days prior to major elections. To receive your ballot by mail, you have to download a mail-in ballot application and complete sections 1 through 9, and mail your signed application to the Sussex County Clerk's Office at 83 Spring Street, Suite 304, Newton, New Jersey. In order to receive your ballot by mail, your application must be received by their office a minimum of 7 days prior to an election. Any voter who fails to apply by the deadline may apply in person at their office up to 3 p.m. the day before the election. Also, drop boxes will be open and in effect starting September 20th. Drop boxes will be closed at 8 p.m. on Election Day, and in case you forgot where your drop box is, I'm just going to read them. Drop boxes are available in Sussex County Clerk's Office in Newton, at the Andover Township Municipal Building, at Byram Township Municipal Building, Frankfort Township Municipal Building, Franklin Borough Municipal Building, Freedon Township Civic Center, Hampton Township Municipal Building, Hardiston Township Municipal Building, Apacon Borough Municipal Building, Montague Township Municipal Building, Sandyston Township Municipal Building, Sparta Township Municipal Building, Vernon Township Municipal Building, and Wantage Township Municipal Building. If you need more information, most of this will be coming by mail. You can call the election office at 973-579-0900, or you can just go to the Sussex County Clerk's website, and this is all listed for you to read. Next, just a short reminder of our health check clinics. We have one that will be on Tuesday, September 14th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing, 201 Wheatsworth Road in Hamburg. This clinic offers vaccines for adults and school-aged children. There is no fee for vaccines if uninsured or underinsured. The clinic also offers a variety of health screenings. So please call 973-579-0570, extension 1211, to schedule an appointment. We also have a child health conference clinic. It'll be held on Tuesday, September 21st, 2021, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing. The clinic offers complete physical exams, screenings, and age-appropriate immunizations for children ages 0 through 5 years old that are without health insurance. You need an appointment, so please call 973-579-0570, extension 1211, to schedule that appointment. We have a women's health clinic that will be held on Thursday, September 23rd from 4 to 8:30 p.m. at the Public Health Nursing, and appointments again are required. This time you would have to call 973-579-0570, extension 1246. We have communicable disease investigations. These are always very, very interesting too. From August 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2021, there were 147 reportable diseases investigated by Public Health Nursing in Sussex County. Lyme disease remains the most investigated disease, so please take precautions when you go out in the high grasses or into the woods because of the Lyme disease. Lead cases, there are 9 active lead cases in the county. And our rabies report from August 1st through August 31st, there were 99 domestic or wild animal bites reported and investigated. Reports consisted of bites from dogs, cats, bats, raccoons, a groundhog, and a squirrel. One animal, a raccoon in Wantage Township, tested positive for rabies. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Next, Commissioner Yardley.
Thank you. So it was a great opportunity while we were waiting to go out, have a good time, and talk to a lot of the residents of the county that were enjoying the summer and had smiles on their faces, and there's a lot of activity going on in the county. People are moving, people are doing things, and it was so refreshing to see that after the long COVID drought that we had, where people had to spend a lot of time indoors. Closer?
Yes.
They missed all those wonderful words. Okay.
Right up to it.
Well, just wanted to say, so it was really good to see that and people out and being active and enjoying this community. I think that's a real indication that people are happy here. We have people moving into the county, renovating a lot of houses. I see that in my community, and making things better. And I think that's a wonderful thing that's been happening. I did want to mention that the wall, the Vietnam wall, the model will be visitation, will be up at the Woodburn Park driveway area, and it can be visited over the weekend during the day by the public, at night only by Vietnam veterans. There will be 9/11 ceremonies throughout the county. I will be here Saturday at the one being held here at the county. You can go on to the county website or any of the websites throughout the county and find different locations where people are celebrating them. Many of the towns have events, and if you're interested in attending one of those, go to your municipal calendar and see that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Yardley. Next, Deputy Director Fasano.
Thank you, Director Fantasia, and thank you to all who are joining us this evening or joined us this evening. And I'd like to start by saying I'm sorry for running a few minutes late. I hit traffic on 206. I don't know what happened there. If it was traffic, then so be it. If it was a construction project, maybe a union construction project, then that's okay. I also want to thank Tennessee Gas Pipeline for presenting and sharing that information here tonight. I know our commissioner mentioned it, but I really appreciate it and think it was important that we provided this forum tonight. I also want to recognize the Borough of Branchville's 200th anniversary, and I learned a ton over the last week or so about Branchville's history as tonight's proclamation was being prepared. It is an excellent community made up of good people, and for as cool as it was to learn about the last 200 years, I'm just as excited for what the future holds as well. So congratulations to Branchville. I, too, would also like to thank and acknowledge Hopatcon Seniors Incorporated, who is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. This organization I've seen firsthand make significant contributions to the lives and well-being of both senior citizens and the broader Hopatcon community at large. With 250 active members and a variety of programs, events, activities, and opportunities for their constituents, Hopatcon Seniors Incorporated is an incredible organization, and I'm wishing them much success for the next 50 years. I should also mention that I've been to some of the events put on by Hopatcon Seniors Incorporated, and they rival any event I've been to on a college campus. That's how lively they are. I'm dead serious. Tomorrow I'll be joining them for their celebration, which I'm sure will be a good time as well, as we celebrate the real impact they've made on the lives and well-being of our community members for the last 50 years. So congratulations. As Commissioner Carney mentioned, I would also like to thank our county staff, our first responders, our emergency personnel, our utility crews, and other professionals who did a fantastic job after the storm last week produced by Tropical Storm Ida. Thankfully, Sussex County fared better than many other counties here in New Jersey, as we know, but there were still many trees down and power outages which were responded to quickly and professionally. I thank all those involved for their efforts and for their work, truly. As Commissioner Carney also mentioned, I had the opportunity to join him in attending the grand opening of Sandwich Lobby, located on Route 206 in Sandyston recently. We had the chance to meet the owners, Eric and Latifa, and I think Chris and I can personally attest that the cheesesteak and the breakfast sandwiches are fantastic and worth checking out. Congratulations to this new business, and we're wishing you much success in the future. But Sandwich Lobby is just one small example of the type of businesses that we have here in Sussex County. And as we all know, the last 18 months or so have not been kind for many businesses in our area, and Sussex County has been no exception to that. Unfortunately, we have seen some local businesses closed for good over the course of this pandemic. At a previous meeting, Director Fantasia and I indicated that Sussex County and its Board of Commissioners intended to tackle this issue head-on with our local recovery funding. Because we have to. We know these businesses. We know many of them as staples in our community, and we know that they need help. So today, the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners have announced an effort to collect information from small businesses in Sussex County. The county is requesting small businesses complete a survey provided by Sussex County about the pandemic's impact on their specific operations. The survey will also help identify what type of assistance is needed most urgently. Results of this survey will assist the county in the development of its own recovery plan. So for any Sussex County business, you can right now simply go to sussex.nj.us and click the News and More Information link right there on the home page to view and complete the survey. I should also mention that we are working with the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce in helping facilitate this survey getting out to our businesses as quickly and efficiently as possible. This marks a very important first step in helping getting our businesses the help that they need urgently, and we're eager to get to work on that. As always, I wanted to mention that Sussex County is continuing to offer free at-home COVID-19 testing options available to all residents, and the Division of Public Health Nursing continues to offer weekly COVID-19 vaccination clinics as well. For the latest COVID-19 news and information in Sussex County, please visit sussex.nj.us/COVID-19. And finally, I wanted to mention Resolution C on tonight's agenda in support of Assembly Bill 5962 and Senate Bill 5041, which permits the funds from the 911 System and Emergency Response Trust Fund account to be appropriated for the purposes of paying certain costs incurred by counties and municipalities for the provision and maintenance of 911 emergency services. It does seem logical, but of the $1.4 billion New Jersey has collected in the last 15 years via that little emergency services tax on your phone bill, only 11% of that funding was spent on eligible emergency-related expenses, and certainly we haven't seen much of it here in Sussex County either. This legislation begins to change that and restore critical funding to county and municipal 911 centers, which is so important to our county, both from a safety standpoint and a financial standpoint. I want to thank Commissioner Fantasia for her work on this, and I'm sure you'll have some more things to say about it as well. So with that, I'll conclude my report.
Thank you. I'm going to actually keep my commentary fairly short tonight, which is shocking, I know, but I know we had our presentation this evening and a lot of words, so I'm going to just give you a brief overview, obviously starting with the Health Department. As far as vaccinations, current residents who are immunocompromised are now eligible for a third dose of the vaccine if you receive Moderna or Pfizer. Again, there's information that's still emerging about the efficacy of a second dose of Johnson & Johnson. The county is not currently administering that, but we will keep you posted as that develops. The New Jersey Department of Health reports that in Sussex County, residents were administered a total of 160,942 vaccines. And again, public health nursing continues to do the walk-in clinic daily. The most recent New Jersey Department of Health COVID-19 activity level report, we're still at a moderate activity level up here in Sussex County. So when it's color-coded and you say it goes from green to yellow to orange to red, we are still in the yellow, which is considered moderate. We are reporting roughly a level of 32 new COVID cases. Allow me to correct myself, I apologize. We were doing 32 per week in July, and now our most recent week is an average of about 229 a week in the 7-day period ending September 2nd. So all in all, we've had 15,708 cases of COVID-19 in the county, which represents just a hair over 11% of our population. Hospitalizations in August, we have had a total of 31, and in September thus far are 4 hospitalizations due to COVID. As of right now, there are 6 outbreaks in the county that are clustered. 2 are child care, 2 are long-term care facilities, but it's not the residents, it's the staff. and 2 are just at other places of residence. As we know, there's the Delta variant. There's no specific data for Sussex County at that time. You know, there's quite a delay from when someone is tested to any confirmation of whether or not it is deemed to be Delta or not. We're looking at anywhere from a 16 to a 24-day delay to even have that information back to the county. So as that becomes available to us, we will be able to share that with you. As you know, only individuals who test positive are those who are tested further when they are positive for the specific Delta variant, are those who had recent travel to or from countries that report emerging variants, a suspected COVID-19 reinfection, or if it's associated with a specific cluster, cases occurring after being fully immunized. So there has to be a red flag, there has to be a red flag that goes up that indicates further testing for the actual Delta variant. I apologize. Okay, so that's the information out of the health department. Quickly, Family Promise of Sussex County has a health fair on Tuesday, September 21st, 2021, 11 to 1. I'm going to be posting some information about that on social media. They are a fantastic group in the county, and actually, individuals who's associated with them had we spoke actually at the Facing the Face of Addiction walk when Chris and I did that at the beginning of August. This gentleman was there, and he actually asked if we could push some information out about Family Promise. So I did say that I would do that. We'll make sure that information gets on our website. They always communicate really well with us, and we did push that out. And speaking of the CLEAR program in Sussex County, there was a vigil on the Newton Green on August 31st in recognition of Overdose Awareness Day. I myself had a conflict, was not able to attend. Again, was happy to do the walk earlier in the month because August is the month that's dedicated for addiction and overdose and recovery efforts where we recognize that. So fair amount of people did show up for that, for support, and all reports back were that it was a beautiful ceremony, and we again thank the CLEAR program and all of the county agencies that work together to have such a strong program to support the residents, of course. I did want to mention something interesting from the Sussex County Arts and Heritage Council. This year, we know Sussex County, we got notification that Sussex County will be receiving a grant for fiscal year 2022 of $200,000. And that grant was announced. So for the first time, what the state is asking us to actually do, which is fantastic, is actually hire an executive director of that agency, because they've really been running on steam and talent and volunteer, sweat equity, and they're just a fantastic organization. They have so many opportunities for seniors, for children, for all kinds of artists, all kinds of levels, so it's very exciting. So I had a conversation with Perry Anderson from there, and very interested to see how that plays out and what that infusion of funds are going to look like and how that can really have a positive impact on the arts for Sussex County. So I thought that was really, really, really great news. I'm not going to dwell at all on that resolution because as we get to the resolution, we might have a thing or 5 to say. So last thing I'd like to say is at the Sussex County Fairgrounds, Sussex County Arts and Heritage Council is sponsoring their Food Truck and Music Festival on Saturday, September 18th from 11 to 6:30. And again, it's in cooperation with Main Street Fairs. There's all different kinds of food and music, $5 a person. Kids 10 and younger are free. There's vendor opportunities and also for artists to show their portfolio. So you can absolutely contact Andrea at the Sussex County Arts and Heritage Council. We'll have that on the website as well. I won't bore you with reading, the details of that. And last but not least, Saturday is going to be a very, very heavy day for us with the 20th anniversary of 9/11, especially those who lost individuals in those attacks. And I'm really proud of the county and the different municipalities and the memorials that they are holding. And I know we're all, going to attend whichever is obviously what we may have a connection to and whatnot. But please, if you're interested, if you are active on social media, there are many, many towns that are posting what they're doing. I know specifically Franklin Borough does a light show, and they have a beautiful memorial service that they do annually, but this year actually has some added components to it, being the 20th anniversary. There's the one in Stanhope. There's the moving wall. They're also doing a ceremony, even though the moving wall is not in direct relation to 9/11. They're also doing something there. So please, I just encourage you to honor our fallen family and friends from that event. And we just thank the municipalities for really doing that. And that's what I have. So let's move right along.
Excuse me, Dawn, if I could, 1 second. I just wanted to thank you for the reminding us at the beginning of the meeting the sacrifice that our military has made and the debt we owe them. I thought you were very eloquent. I wish I could speak that way sometime to express things, and I think I know it was very heartfelt, and you did a great job, and I appreciate that, and I wanted just to say thank you, because sometimes that can be kind of critical, so, but thank you.
Thank you. Well, they deserve our respect, and no better time to remember them. Okay, so number 10, let's move on to the approval of the consent agenda. And this is agenda items. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any commissioner would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. So there are items A through J. I need a motion to adopt the consent agenda A through J.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Okay, number 11, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of August 8th, 2021, and the executive session, August 8th, 2021. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting and executive session.
Still move.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Number 12, appointments and/or resignations. There are none. Number 13 is resolutions. I need a motion to adopt resolutions A through F.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Okay, in a second. Discussion.
I'd like to comment on this.
Yes.
I've been on the board a while. This has been an issue facing the county, where the state has taken the 911 money that was dedicated for everybody that has a cell phone. There's a little charge on there, and that money goes to the federal government and then is given back to the state. And the state of New Jersey has used it for everything but the 911 service. And the county has been paying for that, pays for that service for some of that service, and all the municipalities have to pay for that service, and they are not getting reimbursement. And I think we're number one or number two abuse of state, right? I'm just amazed that the state has been able to say, well, you have to do this, but we're not going to pay you because we're going to use the money and not give it to you. It's a tragedy and it's a travesty, and I'm glad to see that this piece of legislation has been presented. Thank you.
Thank you. To piggyback on that, we are not the worst. We are the only state that has these egregious violations, which now prohibits us from applying for any additional funds for upgrades to infrastructure. The only state that has the, I don't know, I guess the way that the money is distributed, it's so beyond the pale that now New Jersey is prohibited from asking money for these upgrades that we desperately need, and the money is diverted. It can't stand any longer. I know this has been going on for years. So, any other commentary? No. Okay. So that's our discussion. Terry, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano?
Yes.
Director Fantasia?
Yes.
Commissioner Patillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Number 14, awards of contract change orders and bid. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract change orders bids consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolution is in and will further the public interest. I need a motion to adopt Resolution A.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion? Terry, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano?
Yes.
Director Fantasia?
Yes.
Commissioner Patillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Number 15, financial. I need a motion to pay the bills list for August 25th and September 8th, 2021.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion. Terry, please call the roll.
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano?
Yes.
Director Fantasia?
Yes.
Commissioner Patillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Number 16, personnel. A resolution authorizing the personnel agenda of September 8th, 2021. I need a motion to adopt the personnel agenda.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion? Terry, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano?
Yes.
Director Fantasia?
Yes.
Commissioner Patillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Number 17, our administrative report. Administrator Poff. He's up there in the nosebleeds. Come on down.
I feel like I won the T-shirt toss at the ball game or something from having been all the way up there. As I know, the board has a number of items to discuss in closed session this evening. I will keep my report brief. Much of it was already touched upon by the commissioners this evening, but it certainly remains a very busy time for our Division of Health with the monthly mayor's call, which was held yesterday, September 7th, where our Director of Health, Lama Chadad, discussed current statistics, guidelines for schools, and the county's booster vaccination program. As the director had mentioned, for those who qualify, the Sussex County Office of Public Health Nursing is administering the additional third dose of Moderna vaccine to those who have previously reached 2 doses of Moderna vaccine and are moderately to severely immunocompromised at the Office of Public Health Nursing walk-in clinics, and that the Office of Public Health Nursing is hosting a meeting of all K through 12 school nurses and staff to review the current and updated COVID-19 K through 12 guidelines next week. Just commenting from what Commissioner Carney had said, I had the opportunity last week to be at the Office of Emergency Management with the sheriff, the emergency management personnel, representatives from our road and bridge divisions, along with a JCP&L representative, where we were prioritizing road openings from county route closures. There were approximately 9 county routes that had been closed, with JCP&L having reported about 7,300 customers without power. The one thing that I would mention is that the county does maintain, during a storm, a road closure application which can be reached on the county's website on the Division of Engineering webpage. That application is updated in real time and can be a very good resource for county residents. And the budget preparation for the 2022 budget is underway, and we will have more to report, anticipating that we will have our department hearings in the month of October, as is our typical schedule. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we're moving on to our county council report.
Mine's very short. Continue to work with the County Administrators Work Group relevant to the American Rescue Plan Act and creating criteria related to it. I've had multiple conference calls of late with Sheriff Strada and his office relevant to the impending lifting of the moratorium on foreclosures and how that relates to his office and your residents here in Sussex County. Been reviewing and monitoring other pieces of litigation going on throughout the county, which I'll be able to update all of you on during our executive session, as well as some other contract and land acquisition matters, which I would touch base on then as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 19 is unfinished business. Actually, it kind of does piggyback off what you had said. We had 2 requests from the public and one group specifically as well. We received a draft of an amicus brief that went forward. I've been in communication with County Council by way of revisions of what that would say that would best fit an entity of a county supporting that versus an individual group or whatnot. So we'll be receiving that from our attorney. Also, we received a draft of a resolution in support of medical marijuana that also has been given to County Council for review, which will then come to us. We've had multiple conversations here about the board's support for that specific medical marijuana and some of the pitfalls that are put in place by the state for people to be able to access that with any semblance of equity. So we'll also be receiving that in preparation for the next meeting. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other unfinished business pieces? No. Number 20, new business. Okay, number 21, we are on to public session from the floor. This public session is for those wishing to make general comments of 3 minutes or less on non-agenda topics. Please line up at the microphone and maintain 6 feet social distance with other attendees. Please state your name and municipality for the record.
And I want to be clear, unless you were not here, there were some traffic issues. Unless you were not here, this is not agenda item related. We covered that already. That means the Tennessee gas pipeline. We went through that process earlier in the evening. So I think you weren't here when we did that, but other than you, I think everybody else was when we went through that part of the agenda. So these are comments related to anything other than that. Fire away.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Collins, I have to do the vote. One sec. Okay. I need a motion to open the floor for public comment on non-agenda items.
So moved.
Second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Mr. Collins.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I'm Kenneth Collins from Andover Township. I was not able to make it here on time tonight because Route 206 was closed, and I missed the whole presentation from Tennessee Gas Pipeline. So I have no idea if they addressed the questions that I sent in or the questions that anybody else sent in or how they went about that. And I would just like to ask you to, I think the right thing to do for our community is to publish all of the questions that were submitted online and the answers so that everyone can see the questions and the answers. I got a good feeling that they didn't address most of the questions. I know how they operate. I'd also like to request that you consider a permanent electronic option for people to attend and participate in these meetings, because then I could have actually just flipped on my phone and heard their whole presentation, but I missed it. So I'm sure a lot of other people did too, because they can't participate in these meetings electronically, and I don't think that's really fair to our community. And it's clear that we have the capability and the wherewithal to do it. We're just not. So hopefully you'll take that to heart. What's the next thing? I guess that'll do it for tonight. You guys, I just wanted to, there was one other thing. You mentioned that you're going to look at the proposal resolution that I brought to you about medical marijuana, home grow, and there are other ways that you could support this effort in the state, which you do regularly with other efforts. You can write letters as a group to our representatives in Trenton and ask them to support the home grow bills that are currently being presented in our legislature. Ask Hal Wirths, ask Parker Space, ask Steve Oraho to support these pieces of legislation that are there now and that can end this thing quickly, and you wouldn't even have to consider this resolution because the state would take care of it. And that's it. Thank you.
Sir, since you weren't here, I will leave you with 2 pieces of information. While this is not a Q&A by any stretch of the imagination, the presentation that was given by TGP, it is available on the county website, so you can find the whole thing there. And they also indicated that they opened a portal tonight at the TGP website that is available for interaction. The questions they received, plus any additional questions that may have come up tonight that anybody wants to post, they'll try to answer. Okay?
I'm sorry, real quick, to the audio. The audio will also be up too of their presentation.
I also hope that if you guys actually do have the power to make the gas company do what's best for our community, that you make them practice best practices and make them put in electric compressors that will not dump all these toxins into our air. That's a really important thing.
Hi, Mick DiPiano from Newton. I want to start by echoing the call for a need for an online hybrid option. I had to bring my kid out. It's a school night, and she's up past her bedtime. I was going to apologize to people sitting next to me for how loud and distracting she was, but everyone seemed to clear out. So now I do have something I want to talk about. On Saturday in Newton, there was some mosquito spraying. My family was woken up, and so were most of my neighbors, at 6:30 in the morning by a loud, low-flying fan. We were not warned that spraying was happening or that a plane would be in the area. It was honestly quite scary hearing a plane that low and not knowing what was going on. My whole family was woken up. My whole neighborhood was woken up. There was no effort, I feel, on the county to inform the community that this was happening. Or if there was, it was too little and not enough outreach to warn people. Additionally, I felt that the person flying the plane was behaving very unprofessionally. They were doing loops and tricks and a whole bunch of unnecessary aerial displays for the work they were doing, and it's part of what contributed to being so obnoxiously loud. And I can speak for not everyone, but I can tell you many people in my neighborhood, and I live over by the elementary school, feel the same way. It was a big thing we talked about in the morning when I saw my other neighbors running outside to find out what's going on, and then at school drop off. Just a lot of people were perturbed and disturbed by it, and I hope the county can do better in informing the people and, consider maybe not doing that kind of work at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Thank you.
It's always there. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Zoe Heath. I live in Vernon Township. I did just want to echo Commissioner Fantasia's comments about the overdose awareness vigil that was on August 31st. Excuse me. I was able to attend, and it was just a really lovely event, especially for those of us who have lost loved ones. I wanted to echo comments from the public about potentially a hybrid option for members of the public to watch and participate in these meetings from home, or even just a live stream of these meetings. I know the audio of the presentation from Tennessee Gas will be available on the YouTube and the website soon, but that audio won't have the visual aid of the slideshow, and I know that's on the website. I was actually following along here, but in the presentation, he doesn't say next slide. You don't really know where he is, and he's referencing visual cues where some people may not be easily able to find that. So that would just be another benefit of a hybrid option, or even at the very minimum, a live stream of these meetings with a visual cue for people at home. And then I wanted to ask, and I understand if there isn't an answer for this, before COVID, these meetings started at 7 p.m., and I understand that you guys have executive session, you want to get home, but it is difficult for a lot of people to get here for 6 p.m. I know what Vernon Schools does is that the elected officials, the school board members, come in at 6, they enter executive session, and then they come back out at 7 for the general public, and that's when they know they're going to start the meeting. So that could be a solution, because it is tough for people to get to these meetings, especially with things like traffic and work, and I think it would just really help people to be able to access these meetings and information. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Christina Marks, Franklin, New Jersey. I'm here tonight because we've reached a critical point that we feel needs to be addressed to the board in its entirety, especially with recent developments that we've just recently become aware of. As many of you already know, the current relationship between county administration and county employees continue to be adversarial and difficult. Morale among the workplace is at an all-time low. In addition, while employees continue to go above and beyond for the taxpayers of Sussex County, they do so while working with an administration that continues to create hardships for county employees, especially during the pandemic, instead of working together for solutions that ultimately benefit the county and its taxpayers.
Excuse me.
Hmm?
Can you slow down?
Oh, sure. I'm always afraid of running out of time, so I want to make sure I'm getting it all in.
Then go ahead.
I'm still shocked that during this past year, County Administrator Greg Poff has refused to directly communicate and work with represented employees, and instead has directed, at times, inexperienced delegates who themselves are paid handsomely to meet with us to discuss urgent health and safety concerns. Within the county administrator's tasks, many of these duties are encompassed within his job descriptions. However, Mr. Poff has managed during a pandemic where taxpayers were already being affected to split these duties into 3 administrative positions, one that was added in the middle of the pandemic, all of these positions receiving 6-figure salaries. Mr. Poff has shown no concern for employee safety, nor has he shown respect for the tireless work of all the employees, especially during the past year. In fact, not too long ago, we were forced to file health and safety POSH complaints with the state of New Jersey regarding unsafe working conditions in order to have these serious deficiencies addressed. We attempted to speak with the county administrator himself, but in one of his last communications with us directly, he had indicated the safety items that we were speaking of was unnecessary. However, POSH determined that not only were they necessary, they constituted serious safety violations and ordered the county to abate them. It's worth mentioning that to the board that when the POSH inspectors arrived on site to conduct their investigation, Mr. Poff took the unusual step to use the clerk of the board of the county commissioners to advise the investigators that he was too busy to meet, which resulted in state investigators threatening to obtain search warrants and involve the state police. In another recent incident, there was a heat emergency in which employees were forced to work in unsafe working conditions, and it was not until we advised that we would be filing a safety grievance and another POSH complaint did the county immediately take necessary steps to improve employee safety. Notwithstanding these 2 examples, there are many other instances that define how the county administrator views CWA employees, and as you can imagine, they are not positive. We've worked with past county administrators where we may not have always seen eye to eye, but there was mutual respect and desire to work together as much as possible for a resolution. We don't believe that county administrator is following existing county code and following his duties as they are outlined in them. Therefore, based on what I have described and others that I'm kind of skipping over, at a recent meeting of CWA Local 1032 Branch 10, the membership in attendance has voted on and overwhelmingly passed a resolution of no confidence in the county administrator's ability to fulfill his duties as outlined in the administrative code. We believe he's not fit to hold the position of county administrator, nor is he an effective representative of the county workforce to the Board of Chosen Commissioners. We believe he cannot negotiate in good faith to the board, is not capable of implementing the interests, intentions, and directives of the board, does not hold the health and safety and welfare of the county employees in the utmost regard. As most of us are also county residents and taxpayers, we feel that his implementation of policies lack regard for employee safety, again, do not take into consideration board directives, adversarial actions, and behaviors of his have also turned into wasteful spending of taxpayer dollars. That was it? Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Kate Salerno, Sparta. Just wanted to also reiterate the desire for a hybrid option. Just want to be super clear. This is not at all the way that I prefer to participate. As I've said before, I really enjoy and am very interested in the continuing ongoings of the things that happen at this meeting. Actually, was really interested to hear about the event that's happening on the 18th. I like hearing it live. I know that we can catch up to these things after the fact, but as Zoe mentioned, it is very different experiencing it live versus sifting through recordings after the fact. And I know everybody's aware of the distraction of having kids here, and I personally have been accused of multiple times now of using my kid as a way to make a point, and I just want to, on the mic, on the record, state that that is absolutely, could not be further from the truth. As you can see, I'm also very pregnant at this point. I'm in a lot of pain, to be honest. And again, I just want to be able to participate, and thus, as of this point, this is the only way we're able to do that. My husband is a police sergeant, and he works late hours on Wednesdays. I don't have childcare options, so if I want to be involved at this point, this is the only way for me to do that. So yeah, I just would like to also echo my sentiments again about the opportunity for a hybrid option, especially as we get into cold and flu season. I mean, we had a lot of people here tonight. I won't speak to COVID or anything like that, or the masks and blah, blah, blah. Same old stuff we've been talking about, but I just think it's 2021. It would, again, be an easy win for you guys. It benefits everybody. It's very bipartisan action to take, a really easy action to take. And also, just one comment, Mr. Yardley, you're very difficult to hear when you speak, just so you know, sitting back where I am and even in the front. But yeah, hybrid option would be awesome. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody that wishes to speak? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one come forward, I'm going to make a motion to close public session to the floor.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Does any commissioner have any commentary from public session? Okay. Reminders, please check the county's website again, specifically with COVID updates and for especially in emergency situations as well. We post many, many things on the website to help guide the public in real time. Now we're on to number 23, executive session, which is a closed session. This is a resolution providing for an executive closed session not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12 at SEQ.
Thank you. Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution, the Board of County Commissioners, as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of County Commissioners to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session from which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relate to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B as designated. Number 7, matters relating to litigation, negotiations, and the attorney-client privilege. Contract negotiations for PBA 138 Prosecutors Unit, PBA 138 Sheriff's Unit, the attorney-client privilege communication. Item 8, matters relating to employment relationship, personnel policies, and creation of a new position. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed sessions may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners, or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon completion of the business for which the board has entered into the executive session, the board shall, will you reconvene or not reconvene in open session?
I don't expect to reconvene in public session or take action now.
Okay, therefore the board shall not reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public, and therefore the board expects to adjourn its meeting from executive session.
Okay. I need a motion
I'll make it.
and a second.
And I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed. We are now in executive session. Please get home safely. Thank you for coming tonight.